We'll start talking about our tour at
Yeah, so
Balcones.
we were in Waco, and we obviously went to Balcones.
When in Waco.
Yes, and we signed up for their tour. It was a great tour. It was very informative. I had fun on the tour. The tour guide, awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Alexander.
Yes, thank you.
And
you are better with names than I am.
Yeah, well, we had Alex Elrod on the show from Balcones, so when it was Alexander, that just kind of stuck out to me.
But one thing on their tour, you can't take photos.
No.
After a certain point, like you're outside and then you're gonna go in for the tour, and they're like, you can't take photos beyond this. And they have like their still isn't it like the tallest?
It's the tallest pot still in
because the building that the distillery is at is like way back when downtown Waco is hit with tornadoes.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about their building
we're gonna
when we
wait.
get to Decalor.
Fine, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Fine.
You're good.
How dare you?
No,
how do you want this whiskey segment to go, Justin?
No, I just we'll talk a little bit about the building is all I'm saying. The
but
building
that's part
itself.
of the tour.
It is part of the tour.
You want me to talk about the tour? How can I talk about the tour? We were in the building. You can talk about the tour, but you can't talk about the building that the tour was in. Off limits.
No. I'm just saying we'll give you specifics on the dates for that. Okay. But yes, it's a very cool old building.
It is. They had to we learned they had to lower the still in from the ceiling.
It's so tall.
But the still it's hollow out this big building, and that's the still. It's really neat. The pot still.
It is very cool, and their tour is very informative. It was like an hour long, I believe.
Yeah.
We've been on, I guess, some tours that go a little quicker, and I thought this was very informative. A lot of information.
Fun. He was entertaining.
Oh, very entertaining. Their logo. One of the most entertaining things to me is their logo, which if you've watched our show, you can see that was an artist depiction of the
Balcones fault line. That's what Balcones is. It's the fault line there.
Yeah, and they had a it wasn't a geologist, was it? What
basically
they had a geologist come in and say, well, it's actually
he did the tour, and then he educated them that the fault line of the two tectonic plates coming together wouldn't actually look like that because one would slip under the other.
Yeah, it's a sliding fault line basically. And they said, but we already had the logo and we weren't going to change that. Plus, we don't listen to nerds, as he said. So that made me laugh. Just real quick to the chat. Wesley is a New York Mets fan and a Bills fan, I believe, if I remember correctly. So that makes sense. Same area there. I don't want to watch a lot of baseball. Of course, I was big into Chicago teams. So when the Cubs won the World Series for the first time in 100 years, that was awesome. My grandpa was actually a Cardinals fan, which I didn't know that until more recently when I asked, who did he root for? Because he loved baseball. But anyways, back to our tour.
Yeah. It was a great time. And then after, obviously, on the best distillery tours, you get to sample stuff after.
Yeah. 4 tastes.
Yeah. And
do you remember what they were?
It was their lineage.
Yeah.
Their bottled and bond rye, which I have a whole thing to say about.
Go for it.
Right now?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll lose track of where I am at. Hold on.
Okay.
We did, because I don't fully remember.
I do.
It was bottled and bond rye, their lineage.
Pot still bourbon.
Or
no, not their pot still, the baby blue.
Baby blue.
Yeah, that was first.
What was the fourth?
The fourth was the single malt.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
Texas single malt. Which, if you haven't seen our episode with Alex, go check it out. But they are Scotch and single malt fans, and they make everything kind of through that lens.
Yes.
And it leads to a very different whiskey than if you were to go pick up, say, a Kentucky bourbon that has that same taste that all the Kentucky bourbons kind of have. Their stuff's very different.
I just saw a note you have written down, and we're not saying it.
Oh, yeah.
We're not saying it for you. We are not saying it. How dare you? You can't repeat my words after I've had the whiskey.
You said we're saying that on the pod.
I didn't mean it. I cannot believe you.
Before you go on your rant about Texas rye, shout out to Cereal. Always fresh, never soggy, checking in. I haven't seen you for a while, or because we haven't been around for a while. So it's good to see you. Anyways.
So anyone who has heard us talk about Balcones in the past or ryes in general knows that like my go-to rye is Balcones rye. I love it. There is just something unique about it. It has like a leathery kind of
Very leather.
taste,
Smoky leather.
smoked leather. And while that sounds odd, it is so appealing to me, and I never knew that I cared for like that type of that flavor profile in whiskeys or ryes as much as I do until I had that. And I was like, we go to the distillery, and I was heartbroken literally to find out they're not making that anymore now. They do have a bottled and bond rye. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try not to cry. It's not the same. It is not the same. I think that because I like their Balcones rye so much, I couldn't give the bottle and bond rye a fair chance, because this was also after I found out they don't even make the rye anymore. So I'm like comparing it so much to like, I can pick out Balcones Texas rye. I can pick it out among,
it's very unique.
And
their new one I thought was good.
It's not,
but it's not the
rye
same.
though. I want their rye. If anyone from Balcones is listening to me, please. We've been looking, like trying to get any bottles we can find.
Mm-hmm.
We did find 2 here in Iowa, but you just can't find it. There's not a lot of places around here that have Balcones.
Right.
Let alone the rye. I've seen Baby Blue. We've seen Lineage. Lineage seems to be a lot of places. That
it does.
Checked. Finding the rye is really hard, and now you're not even making it. So I just want to cry. It's my favorite.
I did. I talked with Alex a little bit about that. We communicated via email, and he said that they changed it to kind of match more of what they were hoping for. And for him, he said that, they wanted it to be a little less chocolatey. I actually, if I remember correctly, when we tasted it, I thought I got more chocolate notes than we do the regular one. But I mean, that's just my palate too. I mean,
but anyways. I've been in love with their Texas rye.
Yeah.
I think they make great whiskey. I'm not saying that the bottled and bond wasn't good. It's just, I couldn't keep an open mind when I tried it.
Because you're too heartbroken already.
I was already grieving over the fact that they don't make my favorite rye. It is my favorite rye whiskey.
Yeah, for sure.
I just have to say that. Like when I want to if I wanted to sip on a rye, I grab that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to grab it less now because
and
it's limited.
He said in his email that you should be able to find it out in the wild for quite a while, but not around here, unfortunately.
No. So I have to go to a different.
I didn't even think about the fact that we probably should have stopped at a liquor store in Texas, and we could have just came back with it.
That would require out of the box thinking, which we didn't do.
Which we did not have after trying these 4 whiskeys, and then we did flights.
Yeah, we did.
We did flights.
So after the tour, it was a great tour. We went to their tasting room.
Mm-hmm. We had cocktails.
We had cocktails, and did we share a flight or did we?
No, we got our
own.
own.
Got our own flights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they have some whiskeys.
Or no, did we share?
I don't even remember. No, we shared. We shared because we wanted to do cocktails too.
Yeah.
But we did what we're doing now, which we'll come back to, is the De Color.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have one. I don't know if this is just at the distillery. I kind of feel like it is the Mirador.
Yeah, I believe it's
just a distillery. So you'll have to go to Waco and go to Balcones to try this too.
It is worth it. I will say that.
We got kind of like I'm going to kind of just tell everyone kind of what the tasting notes. We wrote them down. Phone notes. We didn't write these down.
Well, we wrote them via text.
But like on the nose, kind of like banana and walnut bread, like a baked bread. I
remember I said I get a lot of bread, and you go banana walnut to be specific.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thank you.
It was really funny. I got a kick out of it. This was our.
Justin, please just don't embarrass me.
This was our 6th whiskey we tasted.
This was
the finish. It was interesting. Was almost a little salty. There was a salty taste to it, which you made a comment about that I won't repeat because you're telling me not to. If you want to repeat it, you can.
We can't. You want to make a short about this and put it out there later? Fine. Right now,
I can't make the short about it until you say it. So I'm just saying that. But we're not supposed to drink.
No,
this
I
yet.
know. I mean, you want to do your own thing. You want to just.
So that was the Mirador.
It was good.
It was
It was
good.
very good.
It was different.
It was between getting a bottle of that or the Decolor because we controlled ourselves.
Yeah, we didn't get both.
No, it was. I mean, these are special whiskeys there, and it was good though. It was good.
By the way, before we talk about the Froke, if you're looking to get some fantasy football info, in about an hour, Kyle Senra and Jamie have their Dynasty podcast at Fantasy Six Pack. Go check that out.
Yes.
Absolutely. Go support them. Go see what they say for, I mean, everything's been shaken up in Dynasty with the free agency, the trades, and then obviously you got the rookie draft coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the Froke, which it's called FR.OAK,
yes.
Froke.
French oak.
Yes. Which this was 5 in, I think 5 or 6 or 7. We lost count, but you said it smells Frenchy at first, which was quite funny.
Okay.
But it was like, smells like French oak. And you got that taste of oak. And then there was a small hint of leather. But it was very woody. This was a very woody taste to it. Had
and
some heat
kind
too.
Kind of like I said smells Frenchy, but it had like kind of a malted caramel smell.
Yeah. I feel like after we tasted it and then you smell it again, it gets a little different.
I give excellent, honest, true whiskey reviews after I've had some whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was Mirador?
Nothing. We will continue. You want me to say it? I can't say it. I just can't bring myself to say it. It was not bad.
No.
It is not bad.
I'd say it, but you said I can't. So I'd say it for you. I
just can't with myself sometimes. Like, who lets me just, we're done.
Yeah. I mean, just think of, I told you that the finish had a little saltiness to it, and
that's
Brandon
going in the wrong direction, but that's fine.
Brandon had some drinks and yeah, just think of that. Then we tried their Texas rum. I know we do whiskey, but we tried their rum because we were very curious. It's aged in
dark
whiskey.
Rum.
Yeah. Aged in whiskey barrels. And yeah, talk about that a little bit.
So it had like a slightly rum smell. Like you would think, I could not tell. If you were just trying this, you wouldn't be able to tell if you were tasting whiskey finished in rum casks or rum finished in whiskey.
100%. To me, it resembled more of a whiskey finished in a rum cask because they finish it for a long time in those whiskey barrels. And that's what I loved about it, though, that it tasted
was so
like
good.
whiskey.
So we decided we were getting a bottle of that for the Brass Giraffe.
Yeah.
And we came home with the Decolor.
And the Decolor, yeah. It was, very Texas whiskey flavored with that leather. But it had a little, that sweetness of rum too, though.
And then like, it's like if you took like, on the finish, like a chunk of fresh pineapple, which I don't know how I was getting pineapple out of it.
Just the sweet rum taste,
something,
I guess. Yeah.
Because I know, like, I don't know, rum and pina coladas and a fresh pineapple on top of that.
Yeah.
But I was getting like that chunk of fresh pineapple and like burnt sugar.
Yeah.
Together. It was interesting. It was very interesting. It was not like any other rum I've tried.
And obviously very good because we had to come home with it.
Yes.
Yeah. And that concluded the whiskeys and spirits that we tried at Balcones. It was a great time.
It was a good time.
If you make your way near or to Waco, you got to stop by because it's a lot of fun. And for an hour-long tour, plus 4 tastes, plus this little whiskey glass,
oh my gosh,
which is awesome.
I didn't even know this little whiskey glass was coming my way. And it was like exciting. I love little glasses.
$20.
20, yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a deal, I feel like.